Good morning, Facebook and Auburn, Alabama. This is Radio Free Auburn, and we're back. That's right, live from the ComSource Data Studios here on I-85 and live from I-85 in Auburn, Alabama. It's been a minute since we've been here. Having some technical difficulties this morning, but we managed to get on. It's a Good Friday edition of Radio Free Auburn. Every Friday brought to you by Fairway Auto Brokers over in Auburn, over in Opelika, Alabama, and Airport Motors in Auburn, Alabama. Fairway Auto Brokers. Our good friend Charlie Cox, class of 1995 over there. Tell him Uncle T-Bone sent you. We're trying to get with Charlie at some point this morning to get a couple of the best deals that they have going on the lots. I tell you, I was over there about a month ago and traded in the old Explorer for an Expedition, and just an easy process. Great selection of vehicles, the best selection of pre-owned SUVs, sedans, vans are hot right now. Trucks, oh, they're beautiful. They've got just a wonderful selection. They're working 24/7 to get you the best deal that they possibly can. That's Fairway Auto Brokers over in Opelika. This is the second time that I have traded with them, and I can tell you what, I will always trade with them. Tell them Uncle T-Bone sent you. Well, since we last have spoken, I know it's been a while. I've had COVID. Auburn tried to fire, whatever you want to call it, their head football coach, Brian Harsin. The basketball program went to new heights and became number one. That's right, numero uno in the country mid-February, and then aggressively got bounced out of the NCAA tournament, unfortunately, by the University of Miami. Auburn baseball is back from the dead and rolling on along. Had a tough night last night, but still a top 25 program. Spring practice has come and gone. That's right. Can you believe it? A-Day's already been, the dogwoods aren't even done blooming, and Auburn A-Day is finished. We're going to have thoughts on that. Scotty Scheffler absolutely dominated the Masters. The NCAA tournament came to a conclusion, and spring has sprung. Summer is right around the corner, and then, you know, after the 4th of July, it's on. So we're happy to be back. We wanted to get in this morning. Just give everybody a quick update where Radio Free Auburn is, where we're possibly going. I think that Radio Free Auburn will live on here on this Fairway Auto Brokers Friday. And we're also going to have a special guest at the bottom of the hour. We hope if we can make this technology work. Class of 1993 Auburn High, Mary Thompson with Pythoch. That's right, Pythoch Construction. And they just got a big award. And we're in the running for new construction and a statewide award. We cannot wait to get with Mary and learn more about that. She's Mary Pilot now, but they have a wonderful company here in Auburn, Alabama, serving East Alabama. Revise, restore, you name it. Pythoch is an awesome deal, and we want to learn more about that. She is our official class of 1993 basketball aficionado. We want to get her thoughts on what happened right there at the end of the basketball season and the whole scope of what's happening with Auburn basketball. Mary has been following Auburn basketball for a very, very long time, but you can before she gets on the air, you can go to pythoge.com. That's pythoge.com. And Pythoch, man, restore, renovate, and revitalize. And Radio Free Auburn here on a Good Friday morning edition in the ComSource Data Studios. So let's start off with Auburn football and A-Day. Okay? Spring practice has come and gone, and I think a lot of the same questions with the Auburn football program. We're not even going to go into the head football coach and what he went through and what that staff went through right there in February after signing day came and went. Basically, this inquiry that Auburn did into the football program, this self-imposed investigation. I still cannot figure out exactly why and how that all came about. And I'm going to tell you right now, no one at Auburn is even talking about it anymore. They just want to sweep that up underneath the rug and everybody be quiet and move it on along. So I'm willing to do that. I don't think today is the time and place to talk about that, but we're going to get thoughts on it one day, I can promise you. But Brian Harsin continues to be the head football coach at Auburn with a new staff, a new old staff of people that he's more comfortable with. Obviously, an offensive and defensive coordinator. Auburn's lost several other position coaches that have been filled. We'll get more into the coaching staff and really who's leading this program when we get closer to college football season. But Harsin remains, and he remains the head coach. So fans out there, we talk about being a better fan here. You better get behind him because he's here for quite some time. But A-Day is come and gone. Spring practice is come and gone. And I'm afraid that Auburn still has some of the same issues or same question marks that they had at the end of last season when they uneventfully and very frustrating way lost 5 games in a row to cap off what was a pretty miserable first season for Brian Harsin and of all of us who live and die Auburn football. Number one, still question mark, what is going on at quarterback? TJ Finley still seems for now to be the number 1 quarterback at Auburn. I don't think that'll be the case when the season starts, nor should it be. God bless you, TJ Finley. I've seen enough, and I understand that he's really stepped up, and he's one of the elders now and leaders of the football team. That's fine, but you can be a leader and be a backup too, and show everybody what you're all about. By holding a clipboard over there on the sidelines, because if TJ Finn, the number 1 rule we have here at Radio Free Auburn about football is if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a prayer. And that goes from the NFL to the NFL, right? The neighborhood football league to the National Football League. No QB, no dice. And does anyone really truly believe that TJ Finley is going to be the man that's going to step up and lead Auburn football to an SEC championship next season? If you do, unfortunately for you, I have some oceanfront property in Notasulga, Alabama, and from Highway 14, you can see the sea, baby. And it's real cheap. It's real cheap acreage. It ain't a lot cheap right now in the construction world, I can tell you that. So I'm going to, TJ Finley, the quarterback position, there's a transfer that's come in from the University of Oregon who used to be at Hoover named Robbie Ashford, a dual threat athlete, a baseball player, a football player who's now here on the Plains with 2 other Oregon transfers. It seems like we rated their program last year and got some immediate help for next year on the defensive line and at defensive back. Robbie Ashford, really showed out during the spring. A lot of people are very high on him. And then you have Nick Calzada, the transfer from Texas A&M University. We saw him last year when we played him in November. He's been hurt. He's been injured. He did not play in A-Day. But by all accounts, it's going to be, those guys are 1A and 1B in any set order going into summer practice. And hopefully Auburn will settle on someone early and the team will get behind them. And if it's TJ Finley, I'll be shocked. Okay? The quarterback of the future at Auburn, I also believe, is on campus right now. He is a true freshman who was here this spring. His name is Holden Grenier, and he is from Savannah. And apparently that kid is a baller. But do we really want to go through starting with a true freshman at Auburn again like we did with Pat Nix? Very few teams can pull that off, and you better have as much talent around your program as Alabama does to pull that off. So I'm not real high right now on Auburn's quarterback situation leaving the spring, but in full transparency, it's the spring, and I really and truly have not been following Auburn football as a sports host or host of any show should but spring is for golf, spring is for the Masters, and it's spring football, man. We'll have thoughts more on that in spring football. Every team is going to the college football playoff out of the spring, right? Oh, everybody looks good, and they're flying around right there at practice. There's a long way until toe meets leather in the fall, and I don't know if I really want to take that deep a dive like we do during football season when the dogwoods are blooming, if you understand what I'm saying. But the question mark, obviously, at Auburn still is at quarterback, and can they develop one? Can you develop one? Because if you can't, you're not going to be any good. That's just all there is to it. But there's options. I think that there's more options at quarterback than there has been at Auburn for a while. I really think that Nick Calzada, healthy, is probably your man. I mean, my gosh, he's already started in the SEC. I mean, so is TJ Finley. That's not saying a whole lot, but Calzada, by all accounts, is going to be your go-to guy. Auburn's still searching for a dynamic playmaker on the outside on offense. This has been a trend. Since Seth Williams left, Auburn has not had a go-to receiver. He was a go-to receiver most of the time. There were moments where he disappeared during football games when you needed him, and it was very frustrating. But there were times when you needed a big catch, you were going to Seth Williams. Okay, he was a playmaker. That's why he got. That's why he went up to the NFL. The big leagues of football, man. Auburn needs a playmaker on the outside desperately. They need somebody that can stretch the field. They need some speed. And for God's sakes, they need somebody who can catch the ball consistently. My man, if you followed this show last fall, my man Landon King, who's a young tight end who seems to catch everything thrown his way and makes plays when you need him, is kind of being moved out to that receiver position. They're going to move him in and out this season. That's great. But what Auburn needs more than anything at wide receiver right now is someone who can stretch the field and take the ball deep and catch it. Someone who's a burner, someone who's fast. Alexander Wright, Jalen Waddle, some type of receiver that's a weapon. And really, it's been a long time since Auburn's had something that wasn't more than just a true blue possession type receiver. Auburn needs someone who can take DBs to the middle of the field, 30, 40, 50 yards down the field, and try and open up that run game. And speaking of the run game, offensive line, I mean, there's plenty of question marks still. That was a huge question mark last year. It got to the point where they couldn't even run block. They were bad. Let's just be honest. They weren't the offensive line at Auburn that you're used to seeing. And a lot of those guys came back, and thank you for doing that. But they have to improve drastically. And there's some injuries during the spring. I don't know if they got a real good look at exactly who the starting five are going to be. Stop me if you've heard that story. It's been like that for 2 years, this rotation. At the end of Gus Malzahn and the beginning of Brian Harsin, it's like, well, we're just going to try and, keep changing them up until we find out who we can bring in. Like, well, okay, man. Hey, coach, we got to get 5. They got to gel, and we got to go. And the first thing they got to do is start pushing defensive linemen off of the line of scrimmage and open up some holes for that running attack. We'll get to the defense here shortly. We're happy to be back here at Radio Free Auburn. I think during the rest of the year and until August, we'll be spotty. We'll be popping in and out. We'll be practicing. We'll be sharpening our swords and getting ready for the fall and get back into that, rotation of Friday mornings, right, Sunday afternoons and Tuesday mornings, and go this entire football season. We got a lot of partners possibly lined up. People are very excited about Radio Free Auburn. Hopefully going to be it's a Good Friday edition. Excited to be back. Excited to be back in front of the camera. Man, I love this time of year. The dogwoods are blooming. The azaleas are blooming. We just had the Masters, one of the greatest golf tournament on earth, in my opinion. Every year, Scotty Scheffler absolutely dominated that. I don't know if we'll have time this morning to get to that, but it was such a wonderful event. I watched absolutely about as much of that as I possibly could over the weekend, including Thursday and Friday. We got Mary Pilot. That's Mary Thompson, class of 1993, Auburn, Alabama. One of Auburn, Alabama's finest. With Pytho, it's going to be on. That's her and her husband Ken's construction company here in Auburn. They are doing some serious damage on the plains and in East Alabama. They do beautiful work, man. And she'll be in at the bottom of the hour. We were having some technical difficulties this morning. Shocker, you've heard that. But we will continue with the show. We're going to take a quick break right here and come back shortly to the ComSource Data Studios here live from I-85. This Radio Free Auburn, Uncle T-Bone. Your Good Friday Radio Free Auburn edition every Friday, brought to you by Fairway Auto Brokers. Tell them Uncle T-Bone sent you. We'll be right back. All right, so we are back. If we look a little different than the last time Radio Free Auburn was on the air, we have actually moved since then into our new home. Very happy to be here. And so the studio, the office is a little different. You notice these Legos back there. That's my boy's gift to the studio. And been a lot of changes since we last spoke to you. Right after Auburn just laid a big egg in the Birmingham Bowl, another disappointing loss last season. And that really just kind of capped off the season, didn't it? It was so much hope, so much in the first year of Brian Harsin. It seemed like that Auburn got really close a couple of times to gelling and being an incredible football team. When I walked out of Jordan-Hare Stadium against Ole Miss Halloween Saturday night, and Auburn absolutely dominated Lane Kiffin, and that place was just on fire. Jordan-Hare Stadium was on fire like the good old days at night, and Auburn was 6-2 with losses at Penn State and to the future national champion, University of Georgia. And it looked like they had it together, and quite frankly, I'm not sure exactly what happened that week. I think something happened behind the scenes. I can't tell you what, don't want to know, but something wasn't right. Something stunk in Denmark, because after that, Auburn went on a 5-game losing streak with games that they most certainly should have, and some of those could have won. Right, they went out to Texas A&M. Not to rehash bad memories here on a Good Friday edition of Radio for Auburn, but they went out to Texas A&M. We're leading that game late. Went over to South Carolina, laid an egg over there. The debacle of a loss at Mississippi State at home after giving up, I believe, a 28-point lead. Still, in my opinion, one of the most embarrassing and worst losses in Auburn football history. Then you had the Iron Bowl, which was just a classic. Right, Auburn could have and should have won that football game several times. Maybe we're a first down away from winning it. A first down, man. And then the loss to Houston, where it was just like whatever. I mean, see, some of that just seemed like players were done. And that's hard, man. It's hard. So how do they get up from that? Well, you know, since all of that, things have changed. ESPN Football Power Index poll came out a couple of days ago. There's been a lot of news here in the college football world. Auburn, I'll tell you, Auburn ranked shockingly in that poll, in that preseason poll, 10th. When the news came out and someone sent me a text asking, hey, Uncle T, have you seen the new ESPN preseason football poll? I was like, no, and I don't care. What, they got us about 50th. They had, and they were like, no, man, no. They got Auburn ranked 10th. And that's shocking. That's shocking to me. I think that's been shocking to a lot of people at ESPN. Some of the comments from, the usual suspects like Mark Schlabach over there at ESPN.com saying that, making obnoxious stuff like, don't even get me, on the overrated and underrated people on the polls. Don't even get me started on what happened there this last spring. Well, don't even get us started, okay? Maybe that football team people are seeing that they were a little bit closer last year than that 5-game losing streak gave them credit for. I was completely convinced that Auburn last year, when I walked out of the stadium at Jordan-Hare Stadium against Ole Miss, was heading towards a possible destiny Atlanta, and within 1 week's time was on the complete flip side of that. Auburn was close last year. They still got a lot of work to do. We put that out in the first part of the show. No quarterback, no top 10 ranking. Okay, let's just be honest. So anyway, but the college football world is so much different than it was when we were younger, and you can get pretty darn good, pretty darn quick with transfers. And I don't think that Auburn's done taking transfers from other teams. And in fact, I think you'll see several from now until opening day or until summer practice coming into the program. I think that Auburn's going to get another linebacker or two. I think that Auburn's looking for a receiver. I would not be shocked if another defensive back, one of Auburn's strong suits, right, we got defensive backs out of the ears over there, man, popped in. So, you get the right person at the right time to transfer in, especially if it's one of these quarterbacks like Robbie Ashford and Nick Calzada from Texas A&M, and all of a sudden, you might be a top 10 team. And if you are indeed a top 10 team, you're sniffing around. You're sniffing around. One thing that really shocked me in that poll, though, too, also, is I think Texas A&M was 14. Huh? What? I mean, they're searching for a quarterback, too, after losing Calzada to us. But still, man, that's a team. That's a program that everyone's talking about being on the rise. Everyone's worried about Texas A&M right now, including Nick Saban. And that's fact. Yesterday, Saban came out and talked about, on an article on AL.com, about basically how the NIL, the name, image, likeness, this is the way that teams pay football players and pay athletes now, is out of control. It's ruining college football. Dabo Swinney said the same thing. All of this stems from last year's recruiting when Texas A&M took down Alabama and a few other teams that have historically been number one in recruiting. Texas A&M with one of the highest ranked, if not the highest ranked, recruiting classes in the history of rivals, right? In the history of rivals. And that didn't sit well with several coaches around the league. And they accused old Jimbo Fisher and A&M of going around and basically, buying players, which is very rich coming from Nick Saban in Alabama. Not saying anything, but saying something. Very rich comments. Look, I agree with Nick Saban. The NIL is out of control, but this is a free country, and I think his biggest beef was that some of these players are going to get outrageous numbers, and it's going to make other players who think they should get paid outrageous numbers upset, and it's going to cause problems in the football program, right? It's not fair. Some guys are getting more than others, and we're going to try and smooth that over and pay everybody the same amount over there at Alabama. This is on the heels of last year when basically he was bragging that their quarterback, Bryce Young, had $1 million contract or whatever. Something like that. I'm sure that there's plenty of Alabama fans that would disagree with me, but one thing that I disagree with and I don't like about from Dabo Swinney and Nick Saban and other coaches who don't like the NIL, and in full disclosure of everything I've heard, Harson's not a big fan of it either. One thing I don't like about it is these guys are making millions upon millions of dollars, and it makes you uncomfortable that, say, your top receiver is getting more than the offensive lineman. It just seems a little hypocritical to Uncle T-Bone. We don't stand for hypocrisy here at Radio Free Auburn, here in the ComSource Data Studios. Good Friday edition brought to you by Fairway Auto Brokers. Tell them Uncle T-Bone sent you. We don't stand for hypocrisy here, okay? If these coaches are going to make millions upon millions of dollars and make so much money and become so filthy rich, right? Become so filthy rich and liquid that they can start Mercedes-Benz dealerships. Don't talk to me about Joe Blow playing on your football team getting free hamburgers up at the hamburger joint in NIL. Don't talk to Uncle T about it. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. In fact, these coaches probably need to shut up and coach. Now look, the first play I call in a college football game will be the first play that Uncle T-Bone calls, right? And I'm not saying these coaches don't deserve big bucks, man. This business that they're in, they're leading hundreds of millions of dollars on the line for universities. I mean, really. Since I started watching college football, too, in 1982, when Pat Dye was probably making about $100,000 a year at best, these guys in the football programs were bringing in $10 million. They're bringing in hundreds of millions of dollars. There's a lot on the line. They're the head CEO of this thing. They're the name and face of it, right? They deserve all the money they can get. But don't talk to me about how you think it's not right that some of your football players might be getting in on a little of that cheese too. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I'm going to tell you right now, this is the first time in my life and probably in the history of this country that you've seen it through COVID that the workforce has the power, right? People stop working, businesses stop. These football players now have the power. They just don't quite realize it yet. But when they do, things are really going to change in college football. So we're going to try and get Mary Thompson on the line here. Mary Pilot, class of 1993. Let's see if we can get her on the line here in the ComSource Data Studios, right? A little Pythage. We're going to take a quick break. A little technical difficulty. We'll be right back. Hopefully we'll have Mary on the line. Stay tuned. It's Radio Free Auburn Good Friday edition brought to you by our good friends at Fairway Auto Brokers. Charlie Cox, man, Terraseca's finest, class of 1995. Go over there and tell them that Uncle T-Bone sent you. We'll be right back. Just reaching out on the telephone, baby. Good morning, Mary Pilot. How are you? You're on Radio Free Auburn, Uncle T-Bone.
Good morning, Wade. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're live from I-85. How are you doing, Mary?
I'm doing pretty good. It's kind of early, but it's great. Great and good Friday.
You know, I've been up since about 4 o'clock because I'm becoming a senior citizen and can't sleep anymore and go to bed early. So the coffee is kicking. The coffee is kicking. And I want to tell you, thank you so much for being here. Our official Radio Free Auburn college basketball aficionado, Mary Pilot, class of 1993. You know her as Mary T. Mary, before we get to basketball, and your thoughts on what happened in spring football, tell us about what you're doing these days with Pythage.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. My husband and I have a company called Pythage. It's a construction here in Auburn, residential. We do new homes. We also do remodeling and renovation. And we have on Annalee Drive, which connects Dean and East University, kind of like Kroger to the mall. We have new homes. You've probably seen if you drive that road, you know where I'm talking about. It's kind of at the end towards East University end. There's some new homes there.
What's that subdivision called, Mary?
Sorry, go ahead.
Hey, what's that subdivision called, Mary?
Annalee Ridge.
Okay, I've seen these homes. In full disclosure, my mother-in-law lives close to over there, and we go check on her from time to time. And those houses are absolutely stunning.
Thank you. We actually just got an award on Saturday night for the Blue House.
Wow.
From the Alabama Home Builder Association. We were a finalist runner-up for the category 500,000 to $1 million custom home. So that was very exciting, and we were very honored.
Well, that's fantastic and well deserved. I'm looking at your website at pythage.com, and some of this work and some of this revitalization that you've done around the area. These pictures are stunning. I love this saying. I absolutely love this saying on your website: restore, renovate, revitalize. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that's how we got started. We got started by just renovating and remodeling houses, and we kind of wanted to take homes. As you know, we both grew up in Auburn, and there's so many great neighborhoods in Auburn, and a lot of places just needed to have new life breathed into them. They had great bones, and they just need a new life. So we just wanted to revitalize and renovate and restore the houses that were already here in our community. So,
well, Mary, I can tell you, this is amazing work that you're doing. I love your houses over on Annalee Ridge. This is something that we talk about here at Radio Free Auburn a lot. Is just trying to be better. And you're doing that for the community, and we thank you. What's the best way, before we get into basketball talk and get down to business, what's the best way for somebody to get in touch with you and talk about restore, renovate, and revitalizing?
You can go to pythage.com. There's a contact there where you can send in your information, and we will have it automatically comes to me and goes to our project manager, and we set up an appointment. And you can also, if you're interested in any of the new homes, we have a website, AnnaLouRidge.com.
Okay.
That takes you to that neighborhood website, shows you how to get in touch there.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much. And make sure if you're listening out there and you give Mary a call, you tell them that Uncle T-Bone from Radio Auburn sent you. So, Mary, look, you've been following basketball hardcore longer than just about anybody I know our age here on the Plains. And last season was incredible. I mean, I can remember when you were down there courtside at the old Beardy's Memorial Sweatbox, man. And okay, look, I'd be at the Allman Brothers concert there the night before, and that next Saturday morning you'd be there courtside cheering on our Tigers. So you're an expert. You know what's what. Tell us as our official Radio Free Auburn college basketball aficionado what happened here this past season on the Plains. Just give us a brief synopsis.
I think Auburn peaked too early. We peaked probably end of January. People, we had a bullseye on our back. People figured out how to guard us.
Yeah.
And it was hard. We went out and we played in tough venues at the end. I mean, Arkansas and Tennessee, we played away. I mean, they were ready for us. Those places were sold out because of Auburn. How awesome is that?
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, that not in our lifetime. And if it has, maybe it was just for a brief moment.
So that's exciting. And even though we lost those games, they were fun to watch, and it was crazy that our players were getting heckled and getting cokes and popcorn thrown at them and walking into the arena.
Yes.
But,
yeah.
I think I hope the Auburn family stays strong. And even though we got bounced really early at the SEC tournament, it was great that there was such a strong following there. I kind of worried that maybe Auburn won't follow them next year, but I hope we do. The NCAA tournament, I mean, that Miami game, it was, I mean, we couldn't buy a basket. We got good looks, but I mean, nothing was going down. And Miami was having that game where everything was going down.
Yeah.
They were guarded, and I mean, they would just throw up anything and it would go in.
Well, you know, when you're hot, and when you're not, you're not. And the Final Four run, Auburn was the team that was making everything.
Yeah.
Midway through the season, and I'm with you. I think that we peaked way too early, which I would rather peak at some point in the season than not at all, because I've seen several Auburn basketball teams, and you have over the years, that had a lot of potential, but just seemed to never ever get it together. And no, I mean, it's just ridiculous. And so, you know, I was at the Kentucky game. We saw you there. And Auburn was that was the pinnacle of what Auburn basketball can be. Just running John Calipari off the court.
Oh yeah, and those games are so much fun. The energy, the football team there. I mean, it's so great. Like it's
right.
That's what I mean. I just remember I was calling our Mandy and Sarah, college roommates, friends of ours, when all the students were camping out. And I was like, can y'all believe this? But what I wouldn't have given when we were in college for this to have been our basketball team. I would have been up there. I would have made y'all come up there with me.
Oh, no question.
I mean, it was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, it's become a thing, you know. It's become a happening. And under Bruce Pearl, who's just incredible, Auburn basketball, you know, you've been around. You know the history of our program. Do you think this isn't going away, is it?
I don't think so. I really think that Pearl, with his personality and his ambassadorship for Auburn in general, like not just for basketball, but for the town and the school in general, I kind of think he wants to build it as a program. I don't think it's a one and done. I don't think it's a blip, you know, where we went, you know, like Mississippi State went to the Final Four, and we didn't hear anything. I'm not trying to bash on them, but
sure.
2017, South Carolina kind of went, and we haven't really heard much from them.
Yeah, I mean, they just lost their head coach.
And yeah, they did. And Frank Martin's a great coach. I think
yes, he is.
It's time for him to probably go. I mean, they probably need to part ways. So I kind of think, I feel like I'm hoping Bruce Pearl is building, and we're gonna be a contender. We need to be a successful program. I mean, you want to be in the Sweet 16 every year. I mean, you really do.
I agree with that. I think that is an expectation now with Auburn's basketball program and Bruce Pearl that's not out of the question. And my belief is, if your team is good enough to get to the Sweet 16, it's definitely good enough to get to the Final Four. And if you can get to the Final Four, anything can happen. Anything can happen. So this is, you know, we're with Mary, real quick, we're with Mary Pilot with Pythage.com. And Mary is our official class of 93 basketball aficionado, college basketball aficionado, and that's Pythage.com, restore, renovate, revitalize. Mary, spring football practice just occurred. Did you pay attention to anything that had to do with Auburn football during the spring?
A little bit. I paid attention to all the nonsense that went on in the winter. I was really proud of our team for all the players that kind of stood behind the coach.
That's right.
Last season was a nightmare at the end. I don't know what happened.
Still trying to put my finger on it. I can't quite comprehend exactly what happened.
Yeah,
other than we lost 5 games in a row.
This is my take on everything. Like, he's been here a year. And if he was winning, nobody would care what he was doing. I mean,
right.
I'm just telling, that's just the way it is in college football. If you're winning, everybody shuts up.
That's right.
He's win down the stretch, and he's 1 year in. Give him some time. See what happens. If he doesn't win in 2 years, he'll be gone. But don't make this mockery of Auburn and national news off the season, during basketball season when we're number one. It was such an embarrassment.
Well, Mary, I mean, I don't think I could have put that any better. You know, fans like us who've been around here for a long time, and people like us who are coming behind us or came before us, you know, we talk about that here at Radio Free Auburn. And look, and you know this, I can be one of the world's worst fans, and I can be one of the world's best fans. I'm trying to be a better fan, right?
Yeah.
And that was so out of the realm of normal fandom that at the end I just threw my hands up and was like, whatever happens, happens. It was almost like a Jesus take the wheel type moment with our football program. That's the kind of thing in full transparency that can drive somebody like me away for a long time and doesn't ever need to happen again.
Oh, yeah, completely. And it was so distracting, and it was so petty. I mean, I don't know what went on. I don't know behind the scenes, right?
Right.
But it was so, it was embarrassing. So I listened to the EF, on Sirius XM, listened to the college sports radio channel.
That's right.
And then that's what they would talk about. They're like, y'all see what's going on? Y'all, you know, the different programs. Do you see what's going on down in Auburn on the Plains? It's basketball season. They're talking about the trustees are going to fire the head football coach. You know, like,
right.
It was just embarrassing. And
well, you know, that's the kind of thing, you know, I didn't even think about it like that way. That I guess I was just so focused on basketball and that run that Auburn got on mid-season where they got to number one, that I didn't even think about that something as bad as that was, it could actually take away from the news of what Bruce Pearl was doing down here. You know, Auburn football is, no matter what, the straw that stirs the drink, right? I mean, it brings the 150,000 people to town, even if they can't get a ticket when we're rolling in and spending money. But what a great point. I mean, how can you, it's just like this imposed wound that didn't need to happen. Yeah. And I didn't want to rehash this here on Good Friday on Radio Free Auburn, but it's been so long since I've even thought about it and talked about it. It's like regurgitating this negative vibe, man. And it really just, and I'm with you. Look, hire someone to do the job, give them a fair run, and
get out of their way. Like, give them time. I mean, it's brutal. They get paid a lot of money because it's short-lived. It'll figure itself out, wins and losses, and you can fire him in 2 to 3 years. It's short-lived. He's got a short time to prove himself.
Well, give us a quick...
Get out of his way and let him do it.
No, I agree with you totally. Give us a quick prediction. Now, the ESPN FPI poll. Did you see that? Where we're ranked number 10 preseason with ESPN?
I saw that yesterday.
I think that's a little high.
I did, but I read it because the FPI is, I was reading the definition of it. Isn't it based kind of like on a neutral field, right?
Okay.
That's what I saw one thing. Right?
Well, this is why we have smart people on the show, because I have no idea what it's based on.
I was trying, because I've never heard of the FPI before.
Right.
I think it's like where they think you'll be on a neutral field. And
okay.
The SEC, we all know this. It's cannibalistic. It's the best. And the SEC West division, of course, is super. I mean, we just eat our own.
I mean, it's the epicenter of competition in college football. Fact.
Yeah. So, yeah, if we played on a neutral field, I mean, I think all the SEC would be up there. But the fact is, we don't.
What's your prediction for the football season?
Prediction? Okay, I thought about this after I talked to you yesterday. You invited me to come on. So you remember in 2003, we were like on Sports Illustrated cover or something. We were supposed to dominate.
That's right.
We laid a huge egg.
Yes, we did.
And then in 2004, we weren't supposed to be any good, and we came out and went undefeated and got robbed.
We got robbed. Yes, we did. I recall it very well.
So I'm kind of got an 04 vibe for this year.
Oh.
We were kind of supposed to maybe kind of ruffle some feathers and make some noise, and we didn't. And this year, everybody thinks we're going to be horrible. It's except for the FBI. And maybe we'll come out and show them what we got.
I love it. I love it, Mary. Here we go. Spring is eternal. Optimism abound.
That's right.
That's why we have Mary. Everybody thinks we're going to be terrible, but the FBI and Mary Pilot with Pythage. Mary, thank you so much for being here. We'll have you back on very soon. That's Mary Pilot with Pythage. Restore, renovate, revitalize. Mary, you and your family have a happy Easter.
Hey, you too. Yes, do my best to Valerie and the boys, and I'd love to come back on sometime and talk more sports.
Oh, we'll have you on very soon. We're going to have you on for, we're probably going to have to do just a whole show because me and you we can talk sports forever.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right, well, have a happy Easter. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
That is Mary Pilot with Pythage.com. Huge award for their houses over on Annaloo Ridge. Go check them out on Annaloo Drive in Auburn, Alabama. You can check them out at Pythage.com. That's Pythoge.com or AnnalooRidge.com. That's Mary Pilot, Pythage, Restore, Renovate, Revitalize. That's so awesome. Class of 93 right here at Radio Free Auburn. We're not going to take a break. We're going to power it on through right now. That's right. 10 more minutes to go. Good Friday edition of Radio Free Auburn. Did you hear the optimism there? Can you feel it? I mean, everyone coming out of spring is going undefeated. 2004 season. She just called it. Boom, called her shot. That's how you fan right there, man. That's how you do it. That's how you fan. I love it. I absolutely love it. This is what I'm talking about. This is why I don't pay attention to football in spring. Because I'm a realist. I want to believe. We're going undefeated. Time to go ahead and mark it down. Atlanta, Auburn's there. Going to beat Georgia national championship season 2004. Called her shot. Our college basketball aficionado, class of 1993, Mary Pilot. You know her as Mary Thompson. That is amazing fandom right there. That's how you are awesome. I'm getting some texts right now about this hoodie I'm wearing, this double B cursive. I want y'all to pay attention to that. I look good in this, don't I? On a Friday morning edition of Radio Free Auburn, brought to you by our good friends at Fairway Auto Brokers. Tell them Uncle T-Bone sent you. This double B, we got some news coming from this in the future. Don't want to let the cat out of the bag just yet. Y'all stay tuned. Right? That's right. This double B, it's called Be Better. That's all I'm going to say. I got some friends in South Carolina, went on a golfing trip. They told me the story. Don't want to let the cat out of the bag, though. That double B is a Be Better. That's right. Be a better fan, man. That's how you fan right there, just like Mary. Stay tuned to this, though, guys, because we're going to have some... Can't let you out right now. Charlie Cox, we got so many people texting us right now, it's ridiculous. People are fired up. Charlie Cox over, he told me he's going to sell, he's going to get Mary out there to sell cars today. Fact. I mean, she sold me. One of the most negative fans in Auburn history at times, Uncle T-Bone. That's right. I bad fan all the time. I admit it. I'm a good fan now because of Mary. I'm a better fan. Be better. Charlie Cox over there at Fairway Auto Brokers texting us a couple of deals that they have on the lot. You might, if you get some time, get by there this weekend or go to fairwayautobrokers.com. It's a simple process to pre-register. In the comment section, make sure you put Uncle T-Bone sent me. You will get the very best deal and service with those magical words. Open sesame at fairwayautobrokers.com. Uncle T-Bone sent me. He sent me a link to their website, and you can check it out right now. They got this, he sent me one of their best deals, but I'm going to tell you right now, they got this 2016 cargo van, this GMC, this mystery machine. If I was single and I was bumping around town, I'd be over there right now to buy this thing. I'd put all my golf clubs in it. I'd just go around from golf course to golf course, drinking coffee and cold snacks and playing golf in this mystery machine. That thing is slick. Oh my gosh, but let's see here. There are some incredible trucks on here. This 2018 GMC Canyon, 65,000 miles, 27.7. Are you joking? You can't get a truck that inexpensive these days. I'd get down there right now if I needed a truck. You better do it right now if you need a truck. Tell them Uncle T-Bone sent me. That is ridiculous. What a great deal that is. Oh my gosh, these cars are awesome, dude. I'm going to go back and trade the car I just got from them for one of these cars just because these cars are so amazing. This 2018 Chevy Tahoe Premier, you cannot get these right now anywhere else. And if you can, I'd be shocked. 46.2, 83,000 miles. That is a fantastic price. This 2020 Chevrolet Suburban, man. I'm telling you, look at this. A Ford Bronco. It's sold. Goodbye. Yeah, you can't get Broncos. No, sir. Those things are nice. The only Broncos I've seen on any car lots around town have been at Fairway Auto Brokers. Fact. Tell them Uncle T-Bone sent me. Let me tell you what, that's why I don't pay attention to spring football very much. Because I want to get fired up. I'm going to buy season tickets right now. Mary Pilot from Pythage, you know her as Mary Thompson, class of 1993, Auburn, Alabama, on this today. What's she saying? This has a feel of a 2004 Auburn Tiger football season when we went undefeated and got robbed. Oh my gosh, that's incredible. That is so awesome. I mean, there's someone in South Carolina right now saying, this is the year, Gamecock fan, coming out of spring. I'm telling you. There's someone up in, well, not at Vanderbilt, but someone over at Mississippi State. Dak Prescott was quarterback, and we were number one. They're saying that exact same thing. Oh my gosh, spring ball brings out the best in fandom, and that's what we're trying to do right here. I love it. I absolutely love it. So we talked about Auburn basketball with Mary. Also, she's a huge fan and always has been of Auburn basketball since we were small children. She knows more about it than just about anybody I know. And she called it. We peaked too soon, man. I'd rather peak too soon than not at all, but we peaked too soon, man. And that's just all there is to it. But, you know, another incredible run by Bruce Pearl, who's got Auburn basketball as a happening. They just brought in the number 2 player in the country, Johan Trehor, I believe is his name, a 5-star power forward. Losing Walker Kessler, who was injured at the end of the season. There's no question about it. That shoulder was all boogered up. And Jabari Smith losing a couple other players in the portal. But let me tell you what, Bruce Pearl will absolutely have a couple of players in the portal coming in before next season. And this team will look unlike last year's team or the year before roster-wise. But you know where they're going to be at the end of the season? Up in that NCAA tournament. And that's about all you can ask, man. Because if you get in the tournament, especially if you can get to that Sweet 16, anything can happen. My gosh, we've had a good time today. It is so nice to be back right here in the ComSource Data Radio Free Auburn studio. Friday edition. Good Friday edition. Every Friday brought to you by our friends at Fairway Auto Brokers. Tons of people in this morning. Texting, can you hear us in the back? Let us know what you think. About once a month until August, maybe a little bit more. Mary's got me fired up. Maybe just a little bit more. We're going to come in. We're going to talk sports. We're going to talk life here at Radio Free Auburn. We had a little technical difficulty this morning. Sorry, we're going to get that straightened out. We're probably going to be on a new format this football season. Don't know if we're going YouTube channel. Don't know if we're going digital radio. Don't know if we're going to be Facebook Live. We might be all of the above, and let's see if this thing can sizzle. A lot of feedback. Let us know what you think. We take the good criticism with the bad. We're always trying to be better. That's right. We're always trying to be better, man. Have a better show, be better fans, be better friends, be better husbands. But more than anything, we want to talk to you. We want to see what you're up to. Anytime, if you've got this number, we just don't put it out there because it'll get on the dark web. Anytime you got my number, right, and you want to call in, and you want to talk sports, you want to talk life, you want to talk to Uncle T-Bone Wade Bennett, you can tell us what you're doing for a living and how people can get in touch with you. That's why it's called Radio Free Auburn. We're not charging ridiculous partnership rates to people. We want to help. We're small business specialists. We love small business here on the Plains. And we're worldwide, man. If you're in California like my man John Grover, great follower of the show, great friend, always trying to help me be better. If you're like him out in California, you can call in. You can call in.
we'll spread the word here at Radio Free Auburn. We love it. This is what we do. This is who we are. Your pal, your friend, your buddy, Radio Free Auburn, Uncle T-Bone. Golly, it's been a lot of fun. If you missed that segment with Mary Pilot, please watch the video later. These glasses are about broken. Woo! Man, Good Friday edition. Spring is sprung. Auburn 2004 season forthcoming, according to Mary at python.com. And without those glasses, I can barely see the screen, but that's all right. It's nicer than the alternative. Last but not least, man, it's been a great show. I'd like to give a shout out to a great follower of this show, and a congratulations to him, my man Kenan Rose from Columbus. He lives over here on the plains with us right now. He has been an awesome fan of the show. He's a good dude, and congratulations, Kenan, to your Georgia Bulldogs winning the national championship in football this football season. I didn't think that Georgia was man enough to beat Alabama, in the famous words of Pat Dye, and they finally got over the hump. That was a really good football team and a really good championship for Georgia to end that drought since 1980. I guess rival fans won't have that to hold over the dog fans any longer, but nevertheless, congratulations, Kenan. You deserve it, and Georgia was by far, in my opinion, the best football team that I saw on the field last year, and I saw some really good ones. So, look, guys, it's been a lot of fun. We're going to take off now, 7 o'clock, get ready for the work day. The sun has risen, and so has the man this Sunday. That's right, it's Easter. I hope all of you, and I really mean this, have a wonderful and happy Easter. It's a great Good Friday edition of Radio Free Auburn, every Friday, brought to you by my friends over at Fairway Auto Brokers. Tell them Uncle T-Bone sent me, and they got some great deals. That's fairwayautobrokers.com. Go see Charlie Cox over there, class of 1995, Terrace Acres finest. Thank you, ComSource Data, for the sponsorship and partnership here in the ComSource Data studios. Your link to network connectivity. If you need any network connectivity solutions, hit me up. I'll put you in touch with ComSource Data. Keep an eye on this right here, guys. This double B. Be better, baby. It's coming. I hope everyone has a happy Friday, a happy Easter. Have a wonderful Good Friday and a wonderful weekend. It's been wonderful being back. I'm yours truly, Wade Bennett, class of 1993, Auburn High School, and this is Radio Free Auburn. We'll be back, and we'll be back soon. Have a great day.